Hello everyone and welcome to the weekly market view by Sharekhan Education. My name is Karthik Manik and we are going to go through the market view for the next week. I hope you all had a wonderful week. So let's see what Nifty, Bank Nifty, USDINR and some stocks have in store for us for the coming week. So just to take a recap of what happened this week. Last week at the closing, we had discussed that Nifty could very well stay around in this upper range around 17,100 to around the lower ranges over here. So that's where we saw more or less Nifty staying. Expiry was below that range and we had a bullish view on the market. So the correction gave a nice move in the last 3 days to take some long positions. If we look at what the view on Bank Nifty was, then Bank Nifty was also pretty much stayed in the range that we had set. You can go and check the session that we did last week. So this was the top range and the bottom range was somewhere around these areas. So that's the range that we had set for this week. And that's where the markets have closed. So let's see what we can expect from Nifty and Bank Nifty in the coming week. To start off with, we will start looking at the monthly candle because the monthly candle just closed and it looks very interesting. July month closed, and if you see a very nice candle, open high almost similar, so shows very strong bullish closing to the month. So the August month looks pretty interesting. After all of this consolidation, we are seeing some bullishness coming in. So the monthly candle is showing some bullishness. If you look at the weekly chart, we are seeing an uptrend trajectory, not confirmed yet, but a sideways trend with bullish bias being developed now. And where can we see this upward move go to? So if I'm taking 1 month view, I will not go for a 1 month view right now. We will try to look at what we can expect from the next week. Daily trend is very much strongly on the upside. So in this up move, we can clearly say that this area is what is supporting the uptrend of the market right now. So 16,650 to 16,400 is where we could sense the market could have a bottom range towards the coming week. Just on the very conservative side, also mark the gap below these areas. So that would be a bottom range for the week. Very simple, trying to look to go with the trend and demands being formed, so they tend to become a very strong support area. And when we have to look at the resistance, where the markets can be on the top side, now that can be tricky in a strong up move, right? How can we gauge that, and how can we try to understand that where can the markets take a pause or a breather, and from where it can correct down? Is it okay to buy at current market price? If not, where should one look to enter? So these are the few questions which pop up in our mind. So we need to keep a clear understanding of what the market view is based on the bigger picture chart. So if I look at the weekly chart, that will give me some idea of where the potential resistance areas of the markets could be. The first which really catches my attention, and probably anybody who does a little bit of conventional technicals, they would be getting a clear idea that we see a pretty clean trend line being developed over here. So that's where we can see some resistance coming in. So just in case markets start to move up over here, we could see markets taking some resistance at around these areas, and they're not necessarily again that it will come down from there, but that's an area where you have to be very careful with taking your long positions, as the reward to risk will not be supporting much. Going ahead with that, where else can we see a resistance coming in? So if you see on the top side over here, there is also an opening of a supply. This is where the supply has began, where the fall started. So around 17,400 areas also there is some sense of the origin of this downtrend began over there. And we have some resistance points at these top areas over here. So 17,300, 400 is where there could be some resistance coming in the market. And those could be your top range out here. So if you reach towards 17,300, 400 odd areas, one should wait. Maybe if you're seeing some bearish indications or some trend reversal indications, then again we could see Nifty correct down a bit, not necessarily a lot, but if it shows signs, it can show some corrections. Also at this point, if you're looking to take some long positions, you start getting a little bit more cautious, because if Nifty comes down another 100, 200 points, all your intraday positions will take a hit if you're going on the long side. So you have to be very cautious at those areas. And overall, the view of the is going to be bullish, because the trends are supporting on the bullish side. Any corrective could be used to take long positions, and the easiest things to say right now would be that Nifty would not go easily below 16,300, 16,400 levels in the coming week or so. So that's the safest range to play, because we are also taking trend into our consideration. So that's to overall set the range in which Nifty can trade in would be somewhere around these would be my top ranges out here. That's where we can set an upper range, and the bottom range would be around these areas. So the closer we come to the red areas, the more we would want to become sellers, or if not sellers, at least not look to be buyers over there. And the closer we become close to the green areas is where we would want to be buyers, as the reward to risk starts getting very, very much in our favor over there. So that's the range for next week on Nifty, where we feel that Nifty can stay in this range. Any of these ranges, if they get taken off, then we will then change our view accordingly. But if on the weekly chart I have to put a range, then that's the range which I set currently on Nifty. Now let's look at Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty is also currently in a very clear uptrend, and the supporting areas on this up move are these areas now. So till the point Bank Nifty is holding on to this area, we can say that now it's on the bullish side of the market, and on the top side we're still near the supply areas out here. So maybe it can go a little deep inside the zone over here, but I believe banking can take a pause over here at around these areas. And if anybody is looking to take any positions currently on the long side, the reward to risk will not suit you, because we are a little high on the curve. When I say curve, it basically means more towards resistance areas, and if you're looking to go short, the trend will not support you. So what do we expect to happen in such scenarios? ऊपर जाने में डिफिकल्टी है, नीचे जाने में भी आपको लग रहा है कि मार्केट का व्यू नहीं बन रहा है. So more or less, when market creates such kind of views where going long and short both are not looking very lucrative or not giving any support, more often than not, you see the index or the stock going very sideways and becoming very choppy. So that's what we can expect from the market as well. Because the trend is in your favor, again, the easiest conclusion to come right now would be to say that the index will not go below 36,200, because trend will always give you more support of creating a view. But on the top side, because of these resistance areas also, one has to be a little cautious whether to take a long positions over here. And that would be more or less the range which I would set in for the coming week in Bank Nifty. So this is the range in which Bank Nifty can be in. The closer it comes towards these red areas, and if you see some bearish candles or you see some downward trajectories on smaller time frames, that can trigger some short trades also. But if you see some corrective, you can also look to go long. Anywhere in the middle, if anybody is looking to trade, there's a very high chance that it can start whipsawing. Your stop losses can get taken out and then go in your favor. So that's one problem a lot of people face in their trading. So in such markets, Bank Nifty can be one of those candidates where if you're taking a trade, And if you're placing your stop losses, they might get triggered, and then you might see prices going in your favor. And these causes a lot of psychological challenges in trades. So that's one thing one should be a little careful of in the coming week in Bank Nifty. Looking at USD-INR, last time when we did the session, USD-INR was around at the verge of breaking these uptrending lows. So we had discussed in the session that if it goes below over here, we can see the trend reversing and maybe showing some correctives over there. That's very close to what happened. And now what can we expect? We have seen some corrective. Is it a corrective? Do we expect the USDINR to go down from here? What's the case? For that to understand, we need to understand the weekly closing. So monthly closing is more of a neutral candle, not showing any real bullishness also, not showing any bearishness also, more or less average. On the weekly charts, we have seen more of an evening star pattern being formed, which means that there is some reversal indications coming in. Now, is this the top? For that, you understand that the trend is very much still in favor on bigger picture. And I would say from positional perspective, till the point you are seeing this demand zone holding, the up move of USD-INR will still stay intact. What we need to understand is the uptrend on small time, on the shorter time frames, and maybe on the daily time frame also has been disrupted, and we have seen the break of the uptrend. But a bigger picture, because of the weekly trend being up, so till the point this demand is holding, we can say that the weekly trend will stay up, and these will be your bottom ranges. The closer it comes over here, one can look to take some long position in USD-INR. And on the top side, because we have seen some weakness coming in around over here, and we have seen prices break some demand at around these areas. There was some demand out here, not a best of demands, but some demand being broken with a gap out here. So these gaps tend to become kind of a resistance area on the market. And if I go on lower time frames, so you have these supply zones out here, and there's also supply on top of that. So more or less, you can say this top range becomes your resistance area in the market. And should we look to go long or short? One should be careful at this point. We can see a bounce coming in over here, but if you see it break this low and the prices go below these areas, it would create some trading opportunities. Currently, it is something one should look to take a trade only in these red areas or in these green areas. So which means that if it's coming in the red area, you can take a small risk and look for some reward to go on short. But if you're taking a trade anywhere in the middle over here, the reward to risk will challenge you, and it's not a very trending move. So there can be fluctuations over there. So the week's range in USD-INR would be around over here. This will be week or maybe a couple of weeks. The better option would be to still keep a bullish view because bigger picture trends are still positive. So what would be more comforting to take a long position the closer we come to these areas. So if I want to fine tune my levels further, then anywhere around these small demand zones, because these are very close to your bigger picture demand areas. These are the areas where one can look to start taking some long positions. So these are your bottom ranges where one can expect to take some bullish ranges out there. And once it comes in this red area over here, maybe looking at some price action, you can even take some shorting opportunities. So that's the view with USD-INR. This is the range for again next week. Last week we discussed stock of the week was HDFC. So let me give you an update on HDFC. Worked and moved pretty well. In fact, we did this on 25th July. It opened up, and from around 2280, it has gone 2380. So we saw 5 days of nice move on the upside. You can check the rationale of the stock on the weekly market view for 25th of July. The rationale is explained over there, and that worked pretty well. Now we come to this week's stock, which is DMart. Now DMart looks very interesting, very interesting. Why do I say that? Is because first we need to understand the monthly candle, which just closed. Very, very nice looking structures, uptrending move, corrected significantly, showed some bullishness around over here. Again, corrected down a bit, took some support over here, and this month's candle showed a very strong up move. So more or less, we are seeing a very strong bullishness in the intention coming in DMart. At the same time, on the weekly chart also, we are seeing higher highs and higher lows being formed. So the weekly trend also started to reverse. A lot of good indications around over there. So a stock which one should keep on radar to go long. On the daily chart, the trend is up. So where can we expect and what can we expect in DMart? So DMart can be a bullish candidate. Currently, I guess these areas are holding the bullish move. So it will be difficult for DMart to go below 3900, and that is something you can lean on to take a bullish position. And the short-term potential targets I would see is somewhere around these resistance areas of 4400. So that's where DMart can come up to, take some resistance. If it breaks, then we'll change our view. But should we look to go short over there? The answer is no. First of all, we would not want to short it is just on the top on up range. It's a stock to be a little bullish on right now, and given the right opportunity, one can take some nice long positions around over here. Again, what gives me more confirmation is the valuation part. Again, this is the proprietary tool which Sharekhan Education has. So just using that to understand the valuations, currently fairly valued. It's just the valuation line is just going above mean. So gives me enough confidence. This was a similar scenario in HDFC last week, where the stock was actually undervalued. So these 5 up move candles was not a big surprise. So yeah, that's the view for DMart for the coming week or so. Overall, the stock looks bullish. One can look to take a bullish stance. If you see any correction, you can do that. But if the reward to risk suits you, looks good to be on the long side. Again, any positions you take in the market, you have to make sure that you are taking care of the reward to risk, and the position sizing has to be as per the trading plan that you have set for yourself. Because that's eventually the holy grail of trading or investing, that you need to have a clear plan of what you're doing. Yeah, so on that note, I hope you all have a wonderful week, and enjoy your markets next week. I'll see you again next week again. Thank you very much.
This should not be treated as a recommendation. Please conduct your own analysis or consult a financial advisor before investing.